All in Sports Network. We love sports.
Coming to you from the land of brisket and barbecue, Lone Stars and Longhorns, this is All In Colts presented by the Unstable Blues.
Welcome back in. It's time again for another playoff edition of the Unstable Pick 6. We will take turns with our predictions of the NFL Honors winners. And we finished off with our official Super Bowl picks. So let's go All In Colts.
That's correct. I'm Kevin. This is my son Liam. We're the Unstable Blues. Happy to present All In Colts as part of the Rogue Media Sports Network.
Yup. We want you to be a part of this. Comment your picks before the NFL Honors Thursday night. And if you get them all right, we'll shout you out on next week's Pick 6. But as always, before we make our picks this week, let's take a look at the conference championship picks from last week.
Yes, a couple weeks ago. But
Yes.
We both had the Eagles over the Commandos.
And that happened in stomping fashion.
Yes, it did. Most points ever scored by a team in a conference championship or an NFC championship. One of those two. I can't remember exactly which one. Yeah.
And then I had the Bills.
You did pick the Bills, and I picked the Chiefs, just like you used to before they lost to these same Bills.
It's true.
It's hitting you hard.
Yeah, it is. It's okay. I got to make up two. I think we'll have differentiating enough where I can do that.
All right, because this
week, not, I'm going to just have to throw stuff out there.
Hey, you know what? I'm 67%. I figure as long as I am 67%, that's a pretty good quarterback percentage, and so it's pretty good. I'm in the right neighborhood.
Yeah, and I'm 78 and 42, so almost there.
Yep.
Both did really well.
So this week we not only predict the Super Bowl, we're going to wrap it up with that, but we're first going to take a look at the NFL Honors. But in order to keep it still a pick 6, we kind of shift some things around. So we're not going to do a comeback player, although if I did have to pick, I would probably say Joe Burrow.
I would say either Joe Burrow or Sam Darnold. I don't know which one I would choose. It's a hard one.
Second year in a row nomination for Damar Hamlin.
It's true.
Hard to argue a comeback player who literally came back from the dead.
Yes, but didn't do enough anything else. So
you were shouting him out pretty hard there at the playoffs. So
he did good.
Yeah.
But that is not what we're talking about. First one up is the rookie, which we combined offensive rookie of the year and defensive rookie of the year. So you, rather than having 1 out of 5 because of the finalists, you have a 1 out of 10. So rather than a 20% chance, you have a 10% chance technically.
So, but
there's always clear favorites.
Yeah, we're picking one out of category, out of the whole rookies. So if you pick an offensive guy and they win, or a defensive guy and they win, you still get it correct. So I am going to go on the defensive side because I think that this is a little bit easier,
more sure
of a pick. Although even then it's not, because Cooper DeJean came on strong at the end and kind of changed the complexion of that defense.
Mitchell.
When they switched DeJean to the slot, Quinyon Mitchell has been absolutely outstanding. Braden Fisk gets overlooked because he's on the same team as who I'm picking, Jared Verse.
Yeah, I figured you were going there, and I told myself, I said, if he goes defense, I will do offense. I'm gonna flip it.
Okay.
There are 2 guys that stand high above the rest. Being Brock Bowers, and Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
They say the playoffs do not matter. I believe they do matter up until the Super Bowl. If that is the case, they do take into factor if the team that they're on made the playoffs.
Okay.
And one guy's team made the playoffs because of him, and that is Jaden Daniels. So I'm going to pick him for the offensive rookie of the year.
Sounds good. So this is the only category where we can have two different answers and both still get it right.
It's true.
All right. So next up is the offensive player of the year. And so nominees, Saquon, Burrow, Chase,
Allen.
Derrick Henry, and Lamar.
Right, not Allen.
Nope.
This is not hard at all. This is Saquon Barkley. If it is anyone else, it is because Saquon won the MVP.
Okay.
No other way.
All right. But you know the MVP is a quarterback,
It is a quarterback award, which is why Saquon gets Offensive Player of the Year.
which would be the second year in a row where a running back has gotten the offensive player of the year for a we don't need it anymore position, right?
Yes, has
Right.
gotten the MVP snubbed out from under them, and because you do not, there's no way you go for 2,000 yards and you're not the most valuable player on your team. Hence, you're also taking your team to the Super Bowl.
And you are the MVP. If you are the MVP of your team, you should be the MVP. I also will pick Saquon here. Yeah, I'm just thinking of how it all shakes down, and I think it's Saquon. So.
Yeah. Next up, then, is a very controversial one: Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive Player of the Year, yes. Nominees: Zach Bond, Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, Patrick Surtain, and T.J. Watt. I am going to go. I think it was the same kind of scenario last year. He who gets the most sacks gets the award, and so I'm gonna say it's Trey Hendrickson has been my pick just about the entire year.
Okay.
What do you
Not what I
think?
had. Not what I had in mind.
All right.
I think there should be a lot more corners on this list. I think there should be at least one more.
Okay.
Because there are just so many out there that are so stinking good. I think it should go to a corner this year. But we all know it does not go to corners. Last time that happened was actually Stephon Gilmore, who we mentioned a little bit about in, what was that, day before yesterday?
Yeah, day before yesterday. Yep.
Day before our first episode this week.
Yep.
On the
Free agents.
part 2 of free agents. But we know does not go to corners, sadly.
Yep.
It's kind of like the MVP. We know it's a quarterback award.
Yeah.
Do I think Myles Garrett or TJ Watt deserved it? No, not at all. So
the fact that TJ Watt is on this
there
list
is crazy.
is absolutely ridiculous.
Yes. Now
He's only there because of past years and the name.
Mm-hmm. So that leaves me with Trey Hendrickson or Zach Bond. And I have been gassing this guy up ever since I started paying close attention to the Eagles.
Yep.
So I'm going to go Zach Bond.
I figured you were.
You compare his season stats side by side with Defensive Player of the Year in 2013 Luke Kuechly stats. Zach Bond is better in almost every category. The only thing he's not as good in is interceptions because Zach Bond is more of a run stuffer linebacker, but can play pass coverage as well.
Yeah.
So my
I
defense
will say that there was a snub in this category as well. Nick Bonito probably belongs on this list.
Yes, I completely. If he was on the list, I probably would have chosen him. Just because I said all along, I said Nick Bonito is the best edge rusher this year.
Well, he's so versatile.
Because
he plays
not only does he play edge, he can play on the inside if he wants to.
Right, and
he also
plays
plays linebacker.
and he can drop off in coverage, and he's gotten good picks off things. So he's very versatile in what he does. Yeah. He's grown a ton over the last several years to be where he's at. Next up then is Coach of the Year. Nominees here are Danny Campbell, Kevin O'Connell, Sean Payton, Dan Quinn, Andy Reid.
It's not going to be Andy Reid. There were too many coaches that did so many things. Dan Campbell got it last year. I don't think he gets it again this year. Because I'm saying this because it goes up into the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl.
Right.
That is what happens.
Yep. Okay.
There's no you would have done it in after the season ended rather than in the playoffs. So that leaves me with Sean Payton, right?
Yep.
Kevin O'Connell,
Yep.
Dan Quinn.
Yep.
One guy made it far with a team that had nothing at the beginning of the season, which kind of eliminates Kevin O'Connell. That being
Sam Darnold.
Justin
Sam
Jefferson.
Darnold.
Justin Jefferson. You out of all people are saying this. You said Justin Jefferson is the reason why Kirk did so well and Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you cannot be talking about that.
I still say Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson can make a quarterback out of just about any quarterback. Yeah.
Yes. Which means they had stuff.
Okay.
Which brings me to Sean Payton, Dan Quinn, who went further in the playoffs with less, but they both had a rookie quarterback, technically. So, but I'm gonna stick with my offensive rookie of the year candidate. Go to Commanders, get an award this year. Dan Quinn, coming from the Cowboys. Everybody liked Dan Quinn and the Cowboys.
Yeah,
I think
it's like the Browns last year. They got 3 awards last year, with coach, comeback player, and defensive player.
Yes.
So I was also pretty much in where you were, kind of in my elimination of everything. And I was down to Sean Payton, Dan Quinn, and for pretty much the same reason. And I'm going to say that kind of the risk taking and working with less, Dan Quinn as well.
Because, I mean, in all honesty, if you think about it, Dan Quinn, his offense is their best player is either Terry McLaurin, who has not had a good season before this one in a long time.
Yep.
Or it's a rookie quarterback. If that doesn't say something about coaching, then and since we aren't
and
doing
they go for it on 4th down more than Dan Campbell.
It's true. The Dans go for it on 4th a lot.
Yeah.
And since we are doing a coordinator of the year, I'll just throw one out there. Ben Johnson from the Lions. I think he gets offensive coordinator. Definitely. He by far gets it.
Mine is Brian Flores.
Yes, I do know that. Anyways, next.
I'll talk about it all season.
Next one. The MVP. Who do you have? I think you know exactly who I'm saying.
Okay. This is honestly a tough one for me because you have a quarterback in Lamar Jackson who did something that no quarterback has ever done before.
Statistically was outstanding.
Right. By putting up more than 4,000 yards and more than 900 yards rushing at the same time while only throwing 4 interceptions. And if you go back and look at those interceptions, 3 of them are off deflected passes, and one of them is a questionable, probably ran the wrong route. So in actuality, 0 interceptions, because I'm still in favor of the league changing the statistics to if the ball is not caught and it's off a tip, That does not go against the quarterback. Does
So
not go in a quarterback stat sheet.
So it's an
I bel-
interception for the receivers.
In baseball, they determine who the error is on, right? And sometimes we're not exactly sure who the error is on, but they make the determination and they make the decision. It can be on anybody. It's not always the pitcher or always the second baseman. Or does that make sense? Like sometimes a bad throw doesn't go the error, if a shortstop throws a bad ball to first, the error doesn't go on the first baseman because he didn't catch it, right? So, but if the throw goes off the glove of the first baseman and out, then it does go on the first baseman. Interceptions should be the same way. It should be easy to make an identification who was at fault. And if it's a deflected pass or if it was right there, then it should not go on the quarterback. Not their fault. They put the ball where it was and they didn't catch it. Went off their hands. Not their fault. Shouldn't go on them. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so, but then you also have a quarterback who, because let's back up and say Lamar had Derrick Henry. He had a great defense and
pretty good O-line.
Really good O-line. Had a really good receiving back out of there and some not upper echelon receivers, but really good quality, Whereas on the other side, you got Josh Allen, who
also, not to mention, also 2, maybe top 15 tight ends in the league.
Oh yeah, right. Of course, yeah. 2 number 1 tight ends, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. I forgot about that part. But then you have Josh Allen, who he has good tight ends, but not that tight end. He has
good wide receivers.
Good wide receivers, but no one that's like, oh yeah, that guy. Oh yeah, I forgot about that guy. Like
Matt Collins is 31.
Right.
I bet you 90% of the fans of NFL have not heard of that guy.
No.
Until this year.
Exactly. The only reason you know of those receivers now is because of this year. And that is not because of them. Notoriety doesn't come from one year because of them. You don't know Khalil Shakir without Josh Allen. He has a good running back, but not like a Derrick Henry running back, although kind of put up some good numbers. So you have a quarterback who literally put the team on his back and did everything, or you have a quarterback who did something that had never been done before. So this is a really tough decision. So you have to determine which of those things makes the MVP. Lamar back-to-back.
Wow. We're differentiating here. I'm staying with my pick, Josh Allen. Mark my words, if Josh Allen does not get MVP this year, it is the worst honors snub in the past 3 years and the future 3 years. It is that important that Josh Allen wins this award. He put the whole team on his back. He played with a broken hand he played with a broken hand in the conference championship and almost won still. And it was his throwing hand. He did everything he absolutely could. Josh Allen is the MVP.
You know what everybody's going to say.
I'm not that, though.
You know what everybody's going to say. When it's
I'm
this
not
close, when it's this close, and you pick the white guy,
So
we've
I
had
was
this
all in
discussion
favor
before.
of
We've
Lamar
had this
winning it
discussion.
last year.
I know we've had this discussion before. Like honestly, like it's it. Let's just dispel this, okay? If you pick Josh Allen, you are not a racist, okay? If you pick Lamar Jackson, you're not against Josh Allen. Literally, it is that close. So, I'm going to add a caveat. And I won't change my pick. I'm going to stay with my pick, but I don't know how you want to do this because this has happened before with, incidentally, a white quarterback and a black quarterback. Steve McNair, Peyton Manning, both in the same division, won co-MVP. I think that was the year 2002, if I'm correct. I'm not going to look it up. If I'm wrong, let me know. Let me know in the comments. But how do you want to handle it? If because it's possible, it's been done before. Are we so close that it's a co-MVP? If it's co-MVP, do we both get it right? We'll both get it wrong.
I say
guess.
we'll both get it right. We'll both
okay.
get it right.
Okay. Sounds good. So it could be a co-MVP and we're both right. Because literally it's that close. Like it's so hard to decide. Because when you talk about MVP, you want the team to be different without them. And both teams would be entirely different without these guys.
Yes.
Even so much that if you took the same quarterbacks and flipped the teams, it wouldn't work. It would be entirely different.
Even if we're talking about it that way too, Saquon, like you take Saquon off the Eagles, that Eagles is a completely different team. Like,
yeah,
sure, they may be in the playoffs. Are they winning the NFC East? Probably not. The Commanders are probably.
Are they putting up that point total?
No.
Are they scoring in one play?
No.
On the ground?
So
no.
You're
right.
It's just how it happens sometimes. So
although I do have a question now, and I think we have just enough time for this. What do you think the outcome would be if you flipped Josh Allen and Lamar on the teams that they currently are? That's all you did? Flip them? Who do you think would be more successful?
Josh Allen. Like, without a doubt, you see what he can do without weapons, you put weapons around him.
Interesting.
He doesn't need to rush all that. He doesn't need to do all that. He doesn't need to make a play where he throws to someone, gets a pitch, dives for the end zone in the snow. Beautiful picture.
Mark Andrews make that catch?
They're not put in that. They're not put in that situation in the first place.
That's rough, right?
They're not put in that situation in the first place.
I feel bad. I feel bad that I just said that. Like I didn't really think about how all of that, because they both kind of came up short, and I'm sorry. Not that Mark Andrews watches this, but I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say that doesn't matter. They don't get put in a position where that catch matters so much. The Ravens are gonna be up by so much, anyways, so it won't matter.
All right, here we go. It's time for the game. All games have led to this game. It is the rematch from 2 years ago. It's the second rematch within the past 4 years in a row. Same home team. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. But your winner between the Chiefs and the Eagles.
It's the team that has the refs on their side versus the team that I have been following for a long time because of one player. I'm going to give you an answer because of what I said based off of even before the preseason started. I said, look out for the Philadelphia Eagles. They have a great offensive line, and they have a great running back. I don't care if he's injury prone. They have a great running back coming to their team. I did this last week, and I regret doing it because the Chiefs won. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles and Saquon Barkley.
All right. All right. It is written down. It's written down digitally. You can't go back on it. So I hate it that I have to say this, but I think the Chiefs are going to win because of what I have continued to say, that is what the NFL wants, and that is what the NFL is going to get, one way or the other. But that's it.
Yeah, did you hear Roger Goodell came out and said that the refs being on the Chiefs side is absolutely ridiculous? That's what he said.
Ask Troy Aikman about it. That's what I say. And then we'll see if Troy Aikman's back next year. But ask just about anyone, and they will say false information. Roger Goodell is just as blind as the referees, apparently.
Yeah, there was a meeting that I had today, and one of the person brought up something about the Chiefs. Everybody, boo, boo. I was like, yes.
Yeah. Can we just, like, if it ends in a tie, can we just end it in a tie?
No one's a Super Bowl champion.
No. Let's just give it to, I don't know. Just
give it to Saquon.
Somebody else.
Saquon.
Give it to Saquon because he deserves it, because he's not going to win the MVP.
Yes. Yeah, you are right, sadly. Well, we want you to be a part of this. Call me your picks before Thursday Night Football, or Thursday Night NFL Honors, my bad.
There you go.
And if you get them all right, we'll shout you out on next week's Unstable Pick 6.
Yes, but that is it that we have today. We already have our Super Bowl picks, but we will be back tomorrow with a full breakdown analysis and preview of the matchup between the Chiefs and the Eagles, the second championship match in as many years. Can the Eagles get the win this time, or will the Chiefs be the first NFL team to three-peat?
Yep, this is Liam.
And this is Kevin,
reminding you to stay all in Colts.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.